Hello, my name is Don Nixon. I'm retired now, but when I was working, I was a project manager here in Parliment Hill. I worked with Public Works and Government Services Canada. And when I was with the department, I was responsible for the conservation of the Peace Tower. Now, some of you might remember maybe 10 years ago, the Peace Tower was covered over with white tarpaulin. And well, behind that tarpaulin, we were doing all kinds of work, and I was the project manager of that. I was also the project manager of the front of the center block, what we call the south façade, and that was all covered over, and we were behind the tarpaulin doing all kinds of work there. And I was project manager for many other projects, the conservation of all the statues on Parliament Hill, the War Memorial, the new Queen statue over there, and all kinds of projects. And it was a wonderful career and a fantastic place to work. My background's engineering. I'm an engineer. I'm a structural engineer. And if I was working in the private sector, I'd be lucky in my career to have one project that's nationally significant, like those I've talked about. But here, when I was working in the parliamentary precinct, all of my projects were important, or most of them were important. So it was a wonderful place to work. Today, what I'll be talking about are not my projects, not the politicians, but stories I've learned about Parliment Hill. And this is part of a 5-part series on stories about Parliment Hill. So, shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start, Susan, with the Peace Tower.
Okay.
Let's walk up there,
yes,
and I'll tell you a number of really neat stories that I know you haven't heard about the Peace Tower. Okay?
I'm
Let's
looking
go.
forward to
Let's
it.
go. You know, I used to give tours on Parliament Hill when I was working.
Oh, yes.
And we would have Public Service Week, and I would have maybe 100 people and give tours, not all at once, but over the week.
Uh-huh.
And whenever we got new staff, I would orient them to Parliament Hill by giving them a tour.
Wonderful.
And I've given, over the last 10 years, I've given tours, kind of like the tour I'm giving you today.
Yes.
And they're very popular. They have a wide range of interests. And at the end of my tours, somebody would always come up and say, "Don, you should write a book on that." And
I think you should.
well, I used to say, well, I don't. But later on, I was telling my mom a story about the Queen statue.
Yes.
And she said, "Don, you should write a book on that." And I said, "By gosh, I think I will." And so I am writing a book.
That's
and it's the title, I don't know what the title will finally be, but right now I call it Stories About Parliament Hill. So and there's hundreds of stories. Now I know about 100. There's lots I don't know. There's lots I don't know. But they're not, most people don't know them. And they're not well documented, and some are not documented at all. And so that's why I want to write the book, to put them down on paper.
That's
So
a very good idea.
Yeah. Well,
There's a project.
That's my retirement project. I hope to be able to approach publishers next year with a good draft.
Wow.
And see. I've never done this before, so I have no idea how to go about it. But we'll see.
Thank you.
So here's the Peace Tower coming up.
Yes.
I think maybe what we'll do is stop right here, and I'll tell you a little story about the beaver. Do you see up on the
I do.
on the top of there's a kind of a V-shaped, and just on top of that is a beaver. We used to call her, or I used to call her Bucky the beaver. When we had the Peace Tower scaffolded back in 1994 to 1996, you could get right up close to Bucky. If I brought you inside the scaffolding, we climbed the stairs.
Yes.
You could actually put your hand on Bucky's head, give her a pat. And now Bucky, if you actually did pat her head, what you would find is that the top 3 or 4 inches of her head was loose. You could actually pick off the top of her head.
Oh.
Now, can I talk about inches, like 3 inches? Or are you okay with inches, or would you
Inches
rather I use metric?
No, inches is just fine.
Okay, I'll stay with inches. Yeah, it was the top of her head was a bedding plane, a fault, a weakness.
Okay.
And you could actually lift off the top of her head. And poor girl.
Yeah.
So we've repaired. It's part of that project. We repaired the head by putting a dowel into the 2 pieces of stone and then epoxying it. So now she's fine. But that's Bucky the beaver. And
Bucky the beaver.
Bucky the beaver. And when Bucky was being planned, before she was carved, what the initial intention was to have Bucky and 9 kits. A little child, a baby of a beaver is called a kit, like a kitten. And the 9 kits back in, I don't know the exact date. I got it at home in the book I'm writing, but I'll say in the 30s, but it might have been the 20s. But there were 9 Canadian provinces in those days.
Right.
And each of the kits was to represent one of the Canadian provinces. So that'd be really nice. So you have the mother beaver, which is the Dominion,
Yes.
the federal government, if you will, and then the 9 little kits all around her. Now, that was the original plan. It didn't happen, though, because we found out that typically a beaver, when she has kits, only has 2 or maximum 3 kits. Never 9.
Never 9.
So that didn't work out, and so that's why you don't see the 9 kits there today. But that was the original plan. Did you know that?
No, I certainly didn't.
There you go.
More information.
There's your first,
Yes.
that's the first bit of trivia for you. Come on up here and I'll show you another.